Hello everyone, welcome back. BogMod here, playing more Tales of Arise. We had big ol' lore dumps. Lots of exposition. And now we have a way to blow up the big bad. Alright. Oops, I shouldn't have rested. Oh well, I wanted to look around first. Hopefully there'll give me a chance to do that after
You
this.
still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
We had a very JRPG moment as well last
I don't
time.
believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans
Where they were
even
all like,
once.
hey, you can
I'm
stop
no
the
saint.
thing that wants to destroy all of
I have skeletons
existence
in my closet,
by
too.
sending it into your
There
friend
was
and then blowing up your
definitely a
friend.
time when I hated Renans for who they were.
And they were like, what?
I
No,
hated them
we would
just for
rather
being
put
Renan.
all of existence at
But
risk.
you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity
Than
to
give
see
our
them
one
in a
friend's
different
life.
light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
So all of
I
this talk
understand
does
what you're
make me
saying,
wonder if they're going
but
to
we're
apply the
talking about
same
massive
things
numbers of Renans
to the
and
Great
Danans
Spirit. It is an entity with
Realistically
sentience,
speaking,
will,
surely they won't all
understanding,
be able to get along.
or is it
Even
going to
if
be
we end
continue to
up
be treated as
butting
just a
heads with one
generic big
person,
bad they gotta stab?
Maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
Which is perhaps also part of
You
my
wish for
issue
people
with
to form real bonds
what
and
sacrifice
do
our
away with
friend.
the hierarchy of right.
They've been willing to
Deal with
stab
one
their
another as
way
humans, and nothing more.
to get here.
That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all
The whole,
over.
I'm willing to sacrifice
Yes,
other
I do.
people, but not my
I
friends.
think it would make
It's
for
very
a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of
that
business
extra
may be
leather
to
strap
find
thing she
somewhere to
has, I
live.
think, is unnecessary for her character
You'll always
design.
have a home in Menency.
Of much as her design is pretty great,
As I shall ever keep in mind.
the back part and that
If you ever
belt
need a
tail
helping hand,
thing.
don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just...
Aw.
Never mind.
You two are totally gonna
Thank you,
bang
Sara.
later. The
I
banging.
appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all,
Ooh, yes.
don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
Yes.
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah. I think
Come
I
on,
do
you
too.
two, kiss. Kiss. Oh, they didn't kiss. I want them to kiss. Ah, well.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that.
No, that was a legitimate concern.
I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned.
No.
So, I'm sorry, Rinwell.
No.
Really.
It was a
should've
decent
kept my mouth
concern.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something.
Yeah.
Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
It was a legitimate thought.
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning.
To be fair,
Even if that meaning was
as the
only
one who
helping
can
you
sense
guys
the
fight.
will of this spirit of the
Then,
most
when I felt
of
Dana's
the group,
will, I was
if
overwhelmed by how
anyone,
vast and warm it was. It made me want
your
to believe my
opinions
powers were
on
made to
it
connect with it.
should be the
It made
least
me
trusted.
believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah, that's all the more reason to not trust her. She's deeply invested in actually being
And
that
I
way.
promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trusted Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust
Yeah,
it
but that's
because
like
you-
saying the people who are mind controlled believe in their mind
Remember what I said
controller.
about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and
That's
everyone
not
else.
a good thing.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside
Well,
each of
it's
us?
a little bit of Dana's astral energy.
In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
No,
What?
it doesn't.
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us,
Yeah. Maybe.
Effort 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for.
No, that's the whole point of this line of questioning, was that you weren't sure if your will was indeed your own.
So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
This was full of terrible logic. Just terrible, terrible logic.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will
Wasn't
I mean,
because it was a
mostly
legitimate
was-
concern.
I
but
feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried.
I was
it
just being an
because-
emotional dick. Oh, that's terrible, buddy.
Never mind.
Law, you were doing great. You're like, I had a legitimate
Just
concern
thinking about it.
in light of information we had received.
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
That's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
Oh. Law, you're so weird. Your character's so weird for me. I guess, I mean, again, I want to stress, of course, this is just my take on Law. It's just so weird.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
I mean, yeah, Hevrecht did say, oh, no, it's not like that. It's, I mean, he did explain why, but he explained why after the protest was brought up. It was a legitimate worry.
Although that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah.
You know, to be fair, she'd
If we
probably
can't
be
find
dead
the
too.
Rose Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get
He
the
won't
Rena's
do it.
Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Rena's Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts.
Yeah.
At the very least, it has to be
You're
worth a
willing
try.
to kill people. If you're unwilling to kill Shion, it's entirely just because
Listen,
you're being
the Great
selfish.
Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike.
I believe you mentioned all
I
of
don't know
reality.
what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
I'm liking that she's doing this, though.
Okay.
Yay! Alright, he said it. Good.
But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end.
Yeah, she's not asking you to just do it
I hope
now.
you can forgive me for that.
She's happy to use this as a case of last resort. In fact, I'm sure she'd approve of
Okay.
that.
I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all.
Oh,
It was so easy
I
for you.
wonder, curious now,
I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
how different would their relationship
That's
be
because I couldn't feel pain
Yeah.
back then.
if you could have actually experienced pain the whole time?
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to
That's
me.
because he had that prior
And when you
experience.
did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before.
He'd already grown close to you.
But still, I hate having to see you suffer.
Ooh, that's
through
an
it
interesting
every time you
thought.
do.
How would the story have played out,
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
you know, if they'd started where he could feel pain,
You think so?
and then later he still chose to go to her,
Shion,
having learned to get past that?
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. I think it'd be for a stronger bond between them. It'd be like, despite your thorns, he grew feelings for her.
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Instead of the thorns not being a factor in him developing feelings, and then once he had the feelings, using them to get past the thorns once he could feel pain again.
Down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far.
I think Rena's doomed either way.
That's a promise.
And Rena isn't their world. I don't
Let's
think
go, everybody.
there are Renans
One
there.
last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrect 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
Maybe you should understand that that's
I have
literally its
unlocked all
design
the
and
functions
purpose.
on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Ah, don't worry. Planets aren't that big, as we've learned.
To normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt
Don't worry.
to save
You can
mankind.
sacrifice them, Alphen.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
I know. I hate it when people try and use reason
Hold up.
and
Did you
evidence
just-
and thinking things through.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
I don't think that's quite what it
You
meant.
mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
She persisted because the original Maiden had kids.
Explain.
And they had kids.
To be honest,
And kids and kids and kids, as people tend to do. He got put in a stasis pod. Like you did. Alright, well.
All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Alright, no, that's nothing different. Question now, can I travel, say, to Dana again, or Lenegus? Let's find out.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
I guess we already warped? Oh, I would have liked to seen the warp. Yeah, so I was kind of right about it being like a barren, dead planet. Not necessarily for the reasons I thought. But I guess the Great Spirit has been eating its own power, its own planet.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by
hollowed.
just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
Yeah, it hollowed its own
I
planet.
don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is
And its hunger.
dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
Yeah, well, what remains of the planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
Come on, guys. Meet the Great Spirit halfway.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
I think you need to
You're
get
saying
past
if
your
we don't
anger.
Stop it. This is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
Destroyed remnants. Rena. Alright. Alright. So, conversely...
So this is Rena.
Special Isle appeared to throw
This is where
Dana.
everything began.
Oh.
Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate, ever.
So it is interesting, because I talked about how maybe it needs to eat Dana to restore itself, right? The planet was running out of energy or something. That's one of my many theories that I had. Close. Though now my theory is that they will save the planet by defeating the Great Spirit. If you recall what the Mr. 30 or Mrs. 35 said. Miss 35, maybe? The energy would disperse. If it disperses, you get your astral energy back, which means the planet could be restored to life. I'm curious if they're going to go that angle or not. Otherwise, we will take our break here. Thank you for watching. Ooh, excuse me. Share your theories down below. And I'll talk to you all soon.